Hey guys, Smooth Brain Operator here, ready to talk more 40K with you. Super excited about the new Space Wolf release and all the new models and the Chapter Master release. Logan Grimnar looks amazing, and I think that only means one thing. Because the last time we got a Chapter Master new model release, it was for none other than the Chapter Master and the other commander units of the Dark Angels, and soon after that, we got ourselves Lionel Johnson. And so I think we're gonna get Leman Russ back very, very soon, extremely soon. But before that, I want to talk about how that might happen, because some say Leman Russ ran off into the warp trying to find the Tree of Life, or trying to find some way to heal the Emperor and get him off the throne. And if he found this Tree of Life, I don't know. I feel like Chaos has to win, right? To some extent. Because if he was successful in his mission, then the Emperor would come off the throne and our universe would be, in a way, done, because the Emperor would just destroy Chaos. He would outright destroy Chaos, especially being fresh off the rebirth. In a rebirth, he would destroy everything. So he's not going to be successful. He can't. The Games Workshop can't afford Leman Russ to be successful in his mission. But as he comes back, some people say they want to see old man Leman Russ return, which I think would be interesting, kind of looking like Odin, this older, wiser, has an eye patch maybe, gray hair everywhere, Leman Russ, who's been in the warp for 10,000 years. I personally think that a young Leman Russ, because the warp can kind of go both ways. It can either drastically age you or make it seem like you've stepped in and out in 5 minutes. And so I think that if we got a young Leman Russ, where it looks like he was still Heresy era Leman Russ, same armor and everything, comes through the portal or comes through something, but he seems changed, right? He definitely is older in his eyes, right? Older in his soul, that he is not, he may look like the same cavalier young Primarch that would just jump into the fight with his axe or sword and swing first and ask questions later, but maybe he doesn't. Maybe he arrives and simply stands back watching a battle with his sword in the snow. Maybe directing, maybe saying send troops over there or get an artillery barrage over here, but maybe he doesn't quite jump in yet. Maybe he looks for the decisive moment in the battles now to then leap in and leap forward into the fray and carve a path for his warriors. But maybe he is reserved in that way, right? He only engages when he needs to, and then he doesn't. Because during the heresy, he was used, and he knows he was used. He was so bloodthirsty and battle ready that it didn't take hardly anything at all for him to go kill Magnus, or at least attempt to. And I think that we saw that, but we also saw his remorse. If you read any of the heresy books, we see Leman Russ's remorse and how he didn't like to be ordered around like that, and he didn't want to be used like that. But he did his duty to the Emperor and did it anyways, but it broke him in a way. And he still was loyal to the Emperor, always. But it just changed him, especially with mainly how Horus used him, right? Because Horus messed with the orders. So Leman Russ might not want to be used anymore simply because he wants to be sure in the future that when he raises his axe against a foe, it is for the greater good of the Imperium, and it is the best case scenario, the best choice, right? He doesn't want to do it just off the cuff. Just someone says start fighting and he's going to fight. No, he wants to know that it's the right choice and the right time to raise his axe. Because it's not a question of whether or not he can beat or kill someone, Primarch, an army, something. He wants to know it's the right thing at the time. And so I think it would just be better, a better character development, to see him simply be more reserved, not acting like the Leman Russ of old, even though he looks like the Leman Russ of old. Everyone's expecting him to just leap into the fray. Maybe he doesn't just yet. Maybe he just holds back. And maybe we see that through a couple engagements where he simply holds back and waits and directs the army from the command center for just a little bit. Doesn't jump straight in. He just holds back just a little bit. I think that would be better. And of course, then for him to run across Lionel Johnson, that would be interesting because they still have their little mini feud, which I'm sure they would be grateful to throw the feud away and be done with it. And then also to be reunited with Gilman, right? I think, and we also have Fulgrim out there. So maybe he shows up to fight Fulgrim. Maybe both Lionel Johnson and Rabute Gilman finally come together and they're fighting Fulgrim together. But Fulgrim is a master swordsman on top of being fully corrupted by chaos. Master swordsman with 3 arms, 3 swords, or 3 weapons at least. Like, he's going to be really tough to handle. And immortal, right? He can be, as we saw in the Siege of Terra book where Rogel Dorn fought him and cut him to shreds, but it didn't mean anything because he just healed. So maybe it's too much for both Lionel Johnson and Rabute Gilman. Even though Rabute Gilman has the sword of the Emperor, so maybe if he gets any kind of wound on him at all, it's permanent. It's permanent. So maybe Fulgrim loses an arm, but still fights the 2 off. And then what if Leman Russ shows up, right? Chaos Portal opens up from Slaanesh, but Leman Russ walks through covered in the blood of Slaanesh demons that he just hacked through that was going to be Fulgrim's reinforcements, but nope, it's just Leman Russ and the 13th Company. Can you imagine that? That would be incredible. But I think that'd be the best case scenario, honestly. And I think that there wouldn't need to be anything else to it, honestly. I think one of those scenarios, either way, a young, not changed Leman Russ would be best case scenario, honestly. Just he just looks the part. He looks like Leman Russ of old, but just in his eyes, right? As soon as they look into his eyes, they almost don't recognize their brother, right? They look into his soul. Even though they have that Primarch sense where they can sense each other, they sense him, but they sense that he is changed. He is different. He is aged internally. Like the lion has aged outwardly, he is aged internally, and commits his troops to battle, helps defeat and send Fulgrim running back into the warp to regroup, but that he is not the cavalier, happy, laughing about winning a great victory. He's just simply reserved, and he might just simply, after the battle, sling the blood off his blade and then put it in the snow and just sit for a moment and think about what just happened, right? That he would just be more reserved. I know that's kind of the Khan, right? That's what Jagatai Khan does. He sits back, he analyzes, he tries to... But again, it's been 10,000 years. All of these Primarchs have got to make some kind of change, be better in some way, have growth, And I think what better way to have growth for Leman Russ than to have him actually be a little reserved now. Maybe not too much. It doesn't have to be as reserved as I've said it is, but at least reserved enough. But anyways, I'm excited. I truly think he's coming back very soon. This year or next year, they're going to drop him, and it's going to be amazing. And then we'll have 3 incredible Loyalist Primarchs ready to go. So, I hope y'all liked the video. Sorry it took a while to get up. But again, I'm here to serve the Warhammer community and help this community grow as best as I can. I'm here for the ride. I know things are going crazy. Some people want the Primarchs back. Some people don't. Fans are all over the board on this. But I love that it's a living universe. And so I'm here to ride the ride on this living universe until the wheels falls off and it dies, or whatever Games Workshop decides to do. But I'm very interested to see what happens next. And I'm along for the ride, and I hope you all decide to join me for the ride too. At the end of the day, don't forget to work hard, do good at your jobs, work hard, so then you can play hard, right? And you can look into this lore and watch these videos, and I hope this helped you have a little bit better of a day. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Be safe and peace.